السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. Welcome to Alhamdulillah, another session of the Family and Faith Live. And Alhamdulillah, with Ramadan upcoming so soon, this is going to be a Ramadan special episode, which means that, of course, alongside taking your questions to do with family matters, we are also, inshallah, going to be addressing and taking questions to do with Ramadan as well. So feel free, inshallah, to send your questions through. Now, we already have a number of questions that have actually come through from beforehand via the anonymous form. So inshallah, we will start off with those questions if that's okay. Okay, so first question of this lab actually is directly to do with Ramadan itself, which is as follows. So the question says, what is the best way for someone wanting to purify their heart this Ramadan and focus on their connection with Allah and not worry about quantity all the time, but focus on quality? So what's the best way basically to purify your heart and build a connection with Allah in Ramadan and get over this obsession with quantity, but rather be more focused on quality?
Okay. In terms of, firstly, just a point to note, firstly, that the quantity is also quite important when it comes to Ramadan. Just to give you a quick understanding of it, like the idea is that in Ramadan, obviously Allah Ta'ala is showering down His mercy, as we understand that from the multiple rewards that Allah Ta'ala is giving to us. So if you have let's say you have a shower down, like it rains abundantly, and you normally don't have this kind of rainfall, it's maybe drought or whatever, right? So then what would you do in this time? You would put out as many pots and pans and bottles and jugs and whatever else you can to catch this rain. The concept making sense? You wouldn't just concentrate on, I need to find the biggest bucket I've got and let me just put only the biggest bucket out, and you're making all the effort to try to get all that one big bucket out. By the time you get it out, it's like you've caught some of it, you've not caught some of it, and you've missed out on what you could have caught if you had just put so many things out there. So anyway, the point simply is that, look, a lot of mercy of Allah is coming down. You want to try to gain that mercy of Allah through so many different ibadat, so many different worship, okay? Not just focusing on one particular thing, slowing down, and just compromising on quantity. There should be quality, 100%. We don't deny that. And there should be a upgrade, as you would say, progress in the quality, but not whilst compromising in the quantity too. You shouldn't be stepping back to step forward like that. Does that make sense? So your quantity will stay, but you want to up the quality of it. So you're praying salah, for example, right? But your salah will now, you trying to make it better in terms of more concentration, more devotion, prepare better before it, make sure you pray the sunnats before it, sit there, contemplate, I'm going to pray to Allah for like 30 seconds, one minute before the prayer. All of these things you can do to better your communication, to better your actual quality of the ibadah. Does that make sense? So if, for instance, you used to finish a certain amount of khatam of the Quran, you're still finishing that many khatams of the Quran, but then you're adding in, for example, some listening to one juz tafsir that people, mashallah, do, or reading a part of the next portion that you're going to read, so it betters that particular worship of yours. So the idea is to up the game rather than compromise on your quantity as well. So anyway, this is something to bear in mind. And in terms of best way to try to gain spirituality is the various different forms of ibadat. One powerful one is obviously dua. Okay, when you make dua in your own language, in your own time, and you just connect to Allah, you just speak to Allah, and you just, whatever it is you want to say to Allah, to speak to Him, and you will connect very much spiritually. And this is very powerful for also women. Even when you are not praying, even when you're not fasting, keep up the dua, keep up the adhkar, keep up these times of connecting to Allah Ta'ala. It doesn't mean you go off on a complete break and like it's like complete abstaining from all types of any spirituality. So this is something to bear in mind. And in terms of rectification of yourself, that is obviously reflection. You have to reflect on certain faults and the faults that we have, the ailments and defects we have. Think, do I have greed? Do I have pride? Do I have ostentation? Do I have this? Do I lie? Do I backbite? Do I, any ailment that we have, any problem that we have inside us, we have to try to rectify those. Obviously, connecting to a spiritual sheikh who will be able to guide us in this is probably the best way to do it. So to be in sohbah of somebody, to be in companionship with somebody who will be able to help us and guide us, that's the best way if you're asking most powerful way. But obviously, in absence of that, if a person doesn't have that, at least some sort of self-reflection, working on those aspects. If you get angry a lot, then trying your best to make sure you work on that, to not get angry a lot. If you're verbally very loose, then you try to work on your tongue and thinking that, how can I make sure that I'm not so loose with my tongue? I'm controlling myself in Ramadan. I should be able to do that outside of Ramadan as well. You're consciously thinking of these things. So inshallah, like this, you'll be able to better yourselves in this way, inshallah.
Brilliant, perfect. Jazakallah. Okay, the next question is as follows. bit of a heavy question, to be completely honest with you. They're asking, what are the consequences a husband has to face on Yawmul Qiyamah for not respecting his wife in this life? What are the consequences?
Yeah. So I think in terms of both, I will answer it from both angles, right? Whether it's the husband or the wife, whichever spouse it is that is not fulfilling rights, as we can say, fulfilling the rights of their spouse, then it's a simple hadith, الظلم ظلمات يوم القيامة, that if you are oppressing somebody, then this oppression will become darkness on the day of judgment. And that's the least thing you want, obviously. Then there will be no light for this person to head their way towards Jannah, towards the right path. Then I'm afraid it will lead a person towards Jahannam. So definitely on the day of judgment, Allah Ta'ala will obviously recompense, will make the person who oppressed have to take the burden of the person who they did oppress. So if it's an oppression, then obviously it's something that they'll have to answer for on the day of judgment. Allah Ta'ala protect us all, right? But obviously, I think what's important here to point out, because of the question and the way the question has been asked, the way to try to rectify that in this world, if you want rectification, it is. If you're seeking rectification, if you're just seeking, I got one over you now, so yeah, I'm going to ask this question to, dig at you, right? Then yeah, no problem, you can get one over them, no problem, right? But it's not going to make your life better, right? The point is, if you want that this respect that should be shown towards you is shown towards you, then I always say you have to firstly earn that respect, right? There has to be some sort of earning of that respect, whereby they feel as though this person needs to be respected. That's one thing. Second thing, you can't demand it. Yeah, demanding it won't get you anywhere. Okay, so that goes hand in hand. Thirdly, you have to form a bit of a bond with them, yeah, whereby you also show that respect as well as other qualities that they might require, and then automatically they will start to show softness and kindness towards you. But you have to, obviously, somebody's going to have to start off the ball rolling, whereby the respect is being shown. If respect is currently being shown but is not being shown by the other partner, then other things, right? There's communication, good dialogue, not criticizing, not like pointing fingers, but actually like, constructively sitting together and with kindness and in the best of ways. Like, how would I like to hear this myself? that's the way I'm going to present it to my partner. Rather than beating it as well, don't go on and on about it. Just mention it like, look, I feel disrespected because of this, or because of this you say to me. You know, how wonderful would it be that we both, we both have better relationship with one another. So like this, nicely, kindly talk to each other, and inshallah you'll start to see a change.
Okay. Next question is as follows. Um, During the marriage meetup, are we supposed to ask all the questions to our potential right away, or can we hold a couple of meetings to get our answers? Because initially, the first meet is kind of awkward to me, and I end up forgetting the questions I was supposed to ask at that point.
Mashallah, good question. So 100% you will forget. It's natural. You forgetting is no problem at all. So you ask some questions. You have to ask at least those questions that will allow you to understand whether you see promise in this relation, in this, in this potential or not. So should I carry on further to another meeting or not? You should at least ask those questions. It's no good doing this, that you go for a meeting, you just never ask the main questions at all. So you're unsure, then you do a second meeting, and then you're going to say no to the person. Right? Generally speaking, obviously you can still say no. No one's saying don't say no after the second meeting. But the idea is that in your first meeting, you should have asked at least your main questions, like 3 core questions that you need. Without them, you can't progress. So then if you've asked at least those, and then you asked about other things as well, the point is that you now see that, okay, they do tick these 3 boxes of mine. I can now take it to the next stage.
Brilliant. And I would just add on that, Alhamdulillah, we do have an on-demand course called Seeking Your Soulmate, in which we cover these kind of queries and a lot more, the entire spouse seeking process in a lot of detail, Alhamdulillah. So if you are interested in that, just type in seekingyoursoulmate.com, seekingyoursoulmate.com, and inshallah you can access the course there. Okay, brilliant. Next question is as follows. That so this is a circumstance of a person. They're saying, I got my nikah done a few months ago, but didn't have the bidai, the rukhsati, and the walima. And so essentially, it's a long distance relationship. Alhamdulillah, everything is good, but I am asked to inform him, meaning my husband, every time I go study or come back, etc., when it's my normal routine, and I do it every day. I told him that I don't like doing it when I'm in my dad's house and in my dad's responsibility. I get picked up and dropped off, things like this. But whenever I forget to text him, he gets angry and says, you can't even do the one thing I told you to do. To me, it feels like a chore I have to do. Otherwise, he will get upset at me. If I tell him to inform me whenever he is going anywhere, he won't do it and gets upset. What do I do?
So main problem I'm seeing here is that he's making you do certain things which he's not doing himself. Yeah.
I think it was not just him doing himself, but that man. He's basically saying that since I'm the man and I need to know where you're going and everything basically about your whereabouts.
So I mean, to a degree, obviously, if he's worried about you, then he wants to know. Does that make sense? Obviously, because he's worried about you. I mean, the reason I'm saying this is because I'm dealing with a lot of cases of sisters who complain that he doesn't care about me anymore. He used to care about me before. He used to ask where I go. He used to call me. He used to message me. Now there's nothing. Yeah, I turn up 12 o'clock and there's not even a single message anymore. So now he doesn't care. So it's like, hold on a minute. If there is somebody who's actually showing care towards you, not that don't take it to mean like he's policing you, he's caging you or something. Yeah, as long as he's not doing that, right? But he's just basically showing concern. He's showing that I just need to know where you are, so because I care about you, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. So take it to be a positive there, that he's worried for your safety. And obviously, to a degree, he is accountable, right? Because if anything happens, then his in-laws, meaning your parents, will come to him, that we gave you our daughter in trust. So that's the idea here. Obviously, in terms of meeting you in the middle, in terms of obviously you asking him where his whereabouts are, it shouldn't be done just because you're asking me. I should ask you too, and you should tell me too. Then it becomes a tit for tat. Then a man won't play ball. Remember this. This is general case. When you tell a man, because I'm doing this or because you're doing this, I want you to do this too. You will generally find men averse to that. You will generally find a man won't play ball when you do that to him. That's not the way to do it, okay? Because he'll just think that you're playing tit for tat. You're playing a game with me. So because he thinks you're playing a game with him, he's going to become stubborn now, right? So what you want to do is just present it in a nice way, which is actual, which hopefully is actual, yes, that, oh, I care for you too. Look, I want to know where you are. I need to know as well, because it's at least peace of mind, safety, and then obviously in my mind is thinking all sorts of things when you're away or something like that. So present it in a nice way. So obviously he will understand that, right? So, and obviously if nothing's happening and it's just deteriorating, I always say when a early sign of conflict, this is an early sign of conflict and you're not getting anywhere, you're not getting through, then just try to get somebody involved. Get a third party, somebody not part of the family, obviously a counselor, mediator involved, who will just listen to both of you, who will then present to him that, look, this is the reason she's saying what she's saying. Just understand and just do it. It's not a big deal, right? So then it gets nipped in the bud, rather than it escalating to some big, case, and it becomes something bigger than it needs to be.
Perfect. Okay. Next question is as follows. So the sister says, I don't come from a family who encourage good adab or good akhlaq or khidmah, and I struggle to find ways to be a better person in my family. Any advice on how I can be a better child and sibling? And then they've asked specifically small steps building upwards, because it's difficult making that change.
Okay, good stuff. So in terms of, firstly, you read books regarding akhlaq, adab. Okay, there are many books just titled akhlaq and adab. Okay, if you just type in Google, you'll get plenty of books in relation to how to improve a person's character, how to improve your character, what you should be improving on, what should you be looking out for. So that's one thing, reading. Obviously, listening to shuyukh talking about this on YouTube and things like this, reputable shuyukh, and inshallah, hopefully the guidance can be there as well. Then obvious, I already mentioned about self-reflection. This is important to reflect over this in a way whereby it's you are constructively thinking of this, of how you can actually improve. Yeah. Then you have to start from one quality, one thing which is small and easy to work at. Don't start from the big mountain, right? Because you're not going to get anywhere. You have to start at the smallest of things, like you're saying, small steps. Okay, so the smallest steps, like for instance, let's say you don't find yourself doing salam to certain family members, or whatever, you don't give a proper salam. So what do? Start introducing that into you, that assalamu alaikum, do a salam enthusiastically, show a bit of enthusiasm when you're giving that salam. Likewise, if you think that, look, I'm not smiling enough perhaps to my siblings and whoever else, then start smiling. This is an easy thing to do, right? Like this, slowly, then you can start introducing small things. Like, let's say you read a hadith of the day, right? You get plenty of apps to do that as well, that give you a hadith of the day. Let's say you read together, oh, let's read this one thing, and then just read together with your siblings one hadith. It'll take you like 30 seconds, 1 minute to do, and it's something that you do that you're sharing positivity with. So like that, slowly, and Ramadan's obviously a very good time to start this kind of a thing. So when you do these kind of things, inshallah, hopefully there'll be more harmony, more peace, and through that you will start to see yourself creating a better environment for yourself in your home as well, inshallah.
Inshallah. And just to touch on what Mufti Saab said about the books. So alhamdulillah, on the MFF WhatsApp channel, actually, over the last 6 weeks or so, we've been sharing basically tips on how to have good akhlaq, like practically. So what exactly good akhlaq is, and what the various traits are, and how you can actually realize them and actualize them in your life. So if you're not in the WhatsApp channel, then definitely good idea to follow that. And if you are, inshallah, try to keep up with that and implement it, because there are some very, very good suggestions in there. Okay. The next question is as follows. So, how does one prevent comparison and feeling discontent when it comes to marriage meetings if things did not work out with the previous person whom they had high hopes for?
Okay, so obviously it's not easy when you see a potential, you're hopeful, but then things don't work out. It's hard to take that. And I always tell people, I just had recently a student that, mashallah, got married after looking for quite long, and they found it a lot of struggle. And then recently, mashallah, I got told through a person in the middle, just asking how they were. And mashallah, they told me they're very happy. Mashallah, they're so happy. And I know just before marriage, when they got married, they came to see me, and I actually told them as well that, look, generally speaking, this is a general rule that whoever struggles, I've seen in finding a partner, getting married, they generally have an easier life afterwards. So it's like you went through the trouble and difficulties before, and generally afterwards you have ease. So anyway, this is a generalization that I've seen as well. So just keep optimism, have hope that there is khair in this, there is goodness in this from Allah Ta'ala. That however Allah Ta'ala decides for you, go through the difficulties now. Inshallah, afterwards there will be hopefully not too many difficulties to face, or perhaps obviously Allah is preparing you for something. And also remember that ultimately the goodness, the khair, it will always be that you might have thought that this person is good for you, but Allah is saving you from something, right? So these are things to obviously try to keep that hope that Allah Ta'ala is, um, you know, He knows better.
Okay. I have shared the WhatsApp channel link in the comments as well. So for those who are not on the channel, inshallah, you can join there. Okay, this is a bit of a broad question. You might have to provide some details. They've just asked, uh, is it better to live with or without in-laws?
Okay, this is a long question. I think we've got some speeches on this on the YouTube as well, that I did as well. And the thing is, the reason why it's not a simple answer, it depends on, firstly, yourself, it depends on your spouse, and it also depends on your in-laws, more importantly as well, how they are. If generally your in-laws, which generally speaking, they're okay, yeah, you're going to have to put up with a few, a little bit of sometimes telling off from the in-laws, or sometimes they're not in the mood and they say something. You're going to have to put up with that. But that's with anything. That's with anybody. You have to put up with that from your own spouses. You have to put up with that from your own children. You have to put up with that from your own parents, right? It's not like the in-laws will be on their best behavior all the time, right? And it can't be expected. So sometimes they may say something, they may do something. It's something which is we can live with, and we should be able to live with. Why? Because of the countless benefits there are on the opposite side that we're going to be getting, that we're not looking at. Okay, I don't know. I mean, do we have a bit of time to go into this? We have a lot of more questions to go into.
No, I think it's worthwhile. I think mentioning the details because it is something that a lot of people are thinking about, and I think typically people just don't even give it thought and just move out. So I think there is good time. Yeah.
Okay, so just take it to certain practical scenarios. Yeah, practical scenarios whereby after let's just say you're not even having any children yet. You don't have any children yet. You and your spouse decide to move out, right? When you move out, remember, there's nobody above you in that household anymore. In that house, there's nobody above you. There's no one above your house, your spouse as well. So when you do have an altercation with your spouse, it's going to happen. You have a little argument. They will scream and shout at you at the top of their voice. There is no limit. Why? Because there's nobody else there in that household that you have to keep respect of. Whereas if you were in your in-laws' home or your own home, there is a limit. You can't shout so loud because your own parents are there or your in-laws are there, right? There's a limit. Do you see the point? So and if you do say something which is out of line, then afterwards the elders of that household will pull that person up, whether it's their own son or whether it's their daughter-in-law. They will pull them up on the side later on and say, they won't do it there and then. Some may do it there and then, but it's not the wise thing to do. But later on, they will talk to them. They will have a discussion that, look, that's no way of talking to a woman, treating your wife. That's no way of, treating your husband. That's not how you talk to your husband, and they will give a few words. They'll give a few words of advice, and there's wisdom in their, countless advice that they will give to you, which is obviously from, from so many years of experience. So that's one aspect that you have to look at, right? Another aspect is after children. There's countless studies. You can do Google research yourself now. It's very easy to do. The benefits of, you can just type it in, you'll see it. Benefits of living with, the children growing up with grandparents. They will show you studies upon studies that have been done, whereby it shows that children that grow up with grandparents, involved in their life, they develop so many skills. They develop skills that are skills like will prevent them from mental health problems later on. They develop skills that allow them to problem solve, that allow them to manage emotion, right? They develop so many skills just by being with their grandparents, right? So this is something that you need to take into consideration, that for your own children's well-being, they need to, and then on top of that, right, this is one major thing that people are neglecting. If you live with your parents or your in-laws, right, and your children growing up see you, for example, fetching a glass of water for their elder in the house, or when you're sitting and an elder comes in and you give up your seat for this older person, your children will see that, and they'll grow up seeing this basic etiquette, basic characteristics, and they will understand how I have to treat my elders, and they will know how to treat yourselves as parents when obviously they grow up, that I have to fetch a glass of water like this. The other day I was talking to one person, and they were saying that they had a cough, and they were coughing. They had a coughing fit, they called it, right? They were coughing away a mother, right? She was coughing away, and her child was there comforting the mother. Oh, but my mother's having a coughing fit. My mother's, what's happened to you, mother? She's trying to, the child is trying to console and the child is now 10 years old, 11 years old, trying to console the mother, hugging as much, and mother's trying her best to make a child understand, go get me water, go get me water. And like, she's trying to explain to me that my child doesn't even know that go get water. I have to tell them to go get water. And that's what happens. Children, it's like when you're the only one that's upbringing them, it's like you have to kind of tell them everything. You have to tell them to now put your shoes on, now put your coat on, now say salam. When you give them the phone, or say salam to this person, or shake hands with this person, say bye, sit down to eat, sit straight. You have to like, it's like a robot. It's like they only do when you say. But because they don't see people in the household, there's not many people they're seeing, right? When they're living with so many other people in the house, they're seeing so much. And remember, as human beings, we learn more by seeing than being told, right? Remember this is a very important concept, that when you get told something, it doesn't matter who's telling you. Remember this, notice this about yourself as well. When you get told something, you will always be defensive. There's always going to be a defensive wall up. Because why? Because when you get told by somebody, you're going to think that, oh, maybe you don't understand me properly. Maybe I didn't say to you properly. That's why you're saying what you're saying to me now. So there's going to be a defensive wall up. So you're not going to fully take from that person. Obviously, if you respect that person a lot more, you're going to take a lot more. But if you respect that person less, you're probably not going to take anything from them, because you got a defensive wall up. You're thinking all of the answers to what they're saying to you whilst they're saying to you what they're saying to you. Your brain is thinking of answers. So you're not taking on anything on board. And remember, children do that a lot with parents, because all the time, children always think they know better. I know better than you. But because you're going to shout at them, they're going to stay quiet now, right? Or they will respond to you. Notice that. Children will always give you an answer, always give you a response back. But with grandparents, not all the time. They won't always give an answer, right? But anyway, the point I'm making is that by telling your children, it will be less effective in their tarbiyah, in them learning things, than them seeing for themselves. When they see for themselves, oh, that's how you take care of your parents. Oh, that's what you do. Oh, you give up your seat. Oh, you're meant to give them a glass of water when they come into the home. You present them a glass of water. They don't need to ask you, somebody go get me water. They've just come into the house. They must be thirsty. Let me go get them water. So this is how you take care of your parents. This is how you talk to your parents. This is how, if your parents shout at you, you stay quiet and you bear it. You bear your parents shouting at you. This is how you bear it. So when you do it with your parents, they see it, they will also grow up doing the same. But if you take them away to this secluded place now, yes, and they have not seen any of this, then how are they going to grow up? Tell me. They're going to answer back at you. They're going to think they can shout back at you because they've never seen anything else. They've not seen anything besides this. Then on top of that, let me tell you another practical, right? If you just think of this scenario. You now have 2 children or 3 children now, yes? And it's not easy upbringing children, right? And you're all alone because you've moved out now. Let's say you have a doctor's appointment that you have to go to. What are you going to do if your husband's at work at that particular time as well? You're going to have to dress each child up. If it's raining, it's cold, you're going to have to dress them up properly so they don't get, you're going to take the buggies out, yes? You're going to take the buggy out. You're going to take the rain cover out. You're going to do all of that just to take them down the road to the doctor's appointment. And now, just in case, because you've been previously, doctor sometimes takes a bit long. They sometimes run a bit over. So now you're going to have to pack a nappy bag. You're going to have to pack extra nappies. You're going to have to take the bottle. You're going to have to sterilize it. You're going to have to take extra milk powder. You're going to have to take boiling water as well with you. All of that, yeah? Just what? Literally, you're going to go to the doctor. Just in case this is because the doctor's taken long, you're going to have to give feeding. You're going to have to feed your child whilst you're waiting in the waiting area. You're going to have to do all of that. Why? Just to go to the doctors. And how long for? Literally, how long for? Your turn comes. You go into the doctor. He's going to take, or she's going to take how long? 2 minutes, 3 minutes to see you. They're going to say, yes, okay. Prescription? Okay, go get prescription. Or, okay, I'll refer you. Done. Within 3 minutes or maximum 5 minutes, they're done, right? For 5 minutes, you had to do that much preparation. Yes? It's not easy. And then what you're going to have to do, because in the doctor's surgery, remember, it's so hot as well, right? So you're going to have to undress your children whilst you're waiting. Yeah, take them all off. And then now, once you finish your appointment, you're going to have to come, you're going to dress them all up again. You're going to have to put everything back together. Make sure you haven't forgotten anything, right? Left anything behind. Then go in that rain back home again. Take it all off again. Dry this rain cover that's got wet. Dry everything that's got wet. Put your coat up. Take the children out. How much task? Just for what? Just to go see a doctor for 3 minutes, for 5 minutes. If you were living with the in-laws, it would have been easier, innit? Just say to mum or dad, whoever's there, that I'm just coming, just got a doctor's appointment. No problem. They'll keep an eye on the children. You're done. Do you see the convenience? Another simple example of it. You want to have a shower, right? You want to have a shower. You can't even have a shower if you're alone. Why? Because even if you have one child, you put the child to sleep. Yes? You put the child to sleep and you're thinking, wow, I've got half an hour, inshallah, I could just take a shower quickly. Yeah, I need to get cleaned up. I need to have I need to get cleaned up and I need to have a shower. So you're going for a shower. 5 minutes later, what happens? Why are you here crying? You're going to have to shorten your shower and jump out because you've got nobody else there, right? The husband's gone to work. You can't even take a shower. You can't do anything. You're going to go mad. You're going crazy. Why? Because you got no time for yourself. And remember, this is one child. If you got 2 or 3, and I've had cases of sisters, that's why I'm telling you these things. I've had cases of sisters. Sister comes to me and she's sitting there crying. She's crying and she's telling me that, oh, Mufti Sahab, I'm so ungrateful. I've been so ungrateful. And she's crying her eyes out and she can't even tell me why. And I'm like, I'm trying to console her, trying to comfort her, trying to say what's wrong. And she tells me, I'm so ungrateful that I had a brilliant mother-in-law, but I just wanted to move out. And I said, why did you want to move out? Eventually comes out with it. It's because everybody else, all my other friends, all my siblings, they moved out. They've got homes of their own. And I don't still have a house of my own. So I felt, obviously you feel it, right? That everybody else has moved on in life. They got something to their name. I have nothing. I'm still stuck here, right? So you start thinking, I want my own space too, right? I want my own. So because of this, what did she do? She made her life so difficult. She now has 3 children, right? Good luck having a husband who's going to now, coming after a hard day's work, come home, and you think that he's going to take care of the children quickly. Yes, he's going to say, no, I'm tired. I've gone to work all day. I'm tired. I've been doing my job. I'm providing shelter, food, clothing. I'm doing my job. That's what he's going to say. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying this is what happens. Yeah. So then she's stuck there. She's thinking, when do I get time? When do I get time for myself? Yeah. So this is things that you have to understand, that, having the in-laws there. Yeah. I'm not saying it's all plain sailing, smooth all the time, but you have to look at the pros. You have to look at the positives. You have to look at how much they make your life so much more easier, right? How much tarbiyah of your children that they'll be giving a hand in. Yeah. How much more, stable your life, your own marriage will be because of it. So anyway, just to give you an understanding, on the other side, people are just moving out just like this without giving it thought, just because everybody else is doing it, right? I want my own space. Think about it. Think about what you're saying, right? And inshallah, hopefully people can understand the other side of things as well. Now, I'm not saying everybody live with your in-laws. That's not possible too, for everyone to live with the in-laws, right? But obviously, give it serious thought. You have to understand what benefits there are, and try your best. And if it doesn't work out, you can always have your own space, no problem. But obviously, eventually, you're gonna have to move out anyway, right? But everyone does it eventually. But understand that there are so many benefits that we're not looking at when we're obviously just moving out, going by societal norm, really.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair for that. I think, MashaAllah, some very, very valid and valuable points were mentioned. I mean, just to add one or two things, I think while you were speaking, that came to me as well. One is obviously cost. That when you move out, there's a
100%.
massive cost increase because bills, rent, number one, is huge, and just that stress that, okay, now your husband's got to fork up that rent extra, right? That in itself can cause so many tensions in marriage because at the end of every month, you're gonna now pay 1,500 extra, 2,000 extra, and that's a huge cost. Imagine you were living with your in-laws, that money you could save up, and you could do so much with that money. You could be saving up 15, 20,000 easily, which you would be spending on your own house. That's a lot of money to go then buy a house. There's so much you can do. So cost is one big thing. I think the other benefit is that when the wife lives with her in-laws and she lives with them and treats them in a loving way, in a caring way, in the way her husband would want her to, she actually earns her husband's loyalty. I feel like a husband in that situation would think 10 times before he does something that will hurt her because he sees that, look, she doesn't just look after me, but she looks after the kids, but also my parents, which she doesn't have to do, but she does it lovingly as if it's her own parents. And the love it creates in the husband's heart, he will reciprocate that in so many ways. So your marriage will improve. Your husband will look after you better. And of course, the third thing I think from the husband's perspective, why many husbands want to stay with their parents, is they appreciate my parents are only getting older. I don't know when they're gonna go, basically, right? And so these small when you're living with your parents, there's small moments. You come home, you see them. They're upstairs, you can hear their voice. These small moments and these small needs they have, you can fulfill. And you feel that, okay, I'm there for them whenever they need me. Whereas when you're separate, even if you be 5 minutes away, it's not the same. That connection isn't the same. So, and I'm sure there's so many more benefits, but I think as Mufti said,
Just there's one or 2 points whilst you're thinking of, whilst you're saying that, just comes to mind, which is a very important point. I think is just to highlight as well that, look, sometimes we're thinking very selfishly, right, of ourselves. Think about it from this perspective as well, right? Look, the grandparents, they deserve to have their grandchildren in their life as well, right? Because look, at the end of the day, any parent will know this. Any parent will understand what I'm saying. That when you're upbringing your own children, it's obviously it brings a lot of happiness, but it's not the ultimate happiness. Why? Because it brings with it a lot of headache, meaning a lot of tension. Why? Because it's constantly, you have to, like, okay, have they got their homework done today? Are they getting their exam work done? Are they revising? Are they, have I done their packed lunch? Are they, have they not grown out these clothes? All of the tension that everything brings. Have they got hurt now? I have to take them to hospital. You know, I have to wait there now. You know, all these tension that will bring with it. With all of the happiness, obviously, it brings that side to it. But when you become a grandparent, there's no, the tension is not there. The tension is on somebody else, right? Meaning your children have to take care of that tension because that's their tension now. Yeah. Yeah. The grandparents are only benefiting the good side of things. Play with the child, have good times, spoil them, take them out, you know, take them to the park and play with them, push them on a swing, you know, have good times with them. So at that age, they want to have involvement with their that's the time to enjoy your progeny. The time to actually enjoy your progeny is your grandchildren, not your own children, because your own children is a lot more tension because you want the best of them, you want to push them in life, right? The grandchildren is the time to enjoy your progeny, and that's when we take away the grandchildren from our own parents. This is very sad. Like, how can we as Muslims think in that way, so selfishly, that we don't even think of our own parents that sacrifice so much for us, that they deserve to have this happiness in their life. To look how happy they are when they see their grandchildren. Just look at how happy it makes them. It makes them wake up early just to play with them, just to take them on a Sunday. You know, I'll take them to the you know, to the library. They enjoy doing all of these tasks. Just on a walk, they'll enjoy doing. Just talking to them in the childish gibberish talk. Just talking to them, they enjoy that so much. You know, letting them take a part in that is it's ultimate happiness for you, is when you see your own parents, you know, having that happiness. So this is a very important point as well. And you know, because you're mentioning the point of money, you know, I just this last point I mentioned, that so many times when women do push, when wives, obviously generally it's the wives that push the husband, that let's move out, eventually he moves out and he's paying rent, and because of that he's working so much, and because of him working so much he's able to give less time to you and the children. Now what does she say? That you're not helping me with the children. He turns around and says, hold on a minute, it was only because of you that I took this burden of paying the bills, of paying rent, of paying everything. Yeah, it's because of you I did this. Don't even dare say to me now, don't dare say to me that I'm not giving you enough time now. I have to work like this because I have to provide you, and this, now you wanted this, so now you will be lumbered, because he will put it all on you, that he has to work so hard and he's so tired that he can't help out now because of you. You wanted that move, so you will be stuck when he puts that on you. So all of these things you have to really take into consideration.
Brilliant. Okay, we do have 2 or 3 questions, so inshallah we'll quickly try to get through these ones that remain. Next question, it's a bit of a long question. They've provided a lot of context to it, but I'm just going to summarize it. Essentially, how do I convince my husband to seek help in fixing our marriage? And then the sister mentions a lot of things that he's not doing, and how he's not getting help. His mood changes. He doesn't pray. He doesn't have many friends. And when she brings up the issue that, you know, we need to work on this, he basically just says, oh, it's because of you. That because you keep raising this point is leading to arguments. And she now says, I've been married to him for 12 years and I feel emotionally exhausted. And she feels like he's an extra child in the house. Although she does positively mention that he is very helpful with the children. So she ends off with that. But yeah, so what does she do?
No, it's obviously with men, it's just a big point that unfortunately that men don't want to seek help. They just don't see the point, the need to seek the help. Unfortunately, that's the case. You just have to kind of get through that. I generally tell 3 tips to try to get through that. Hopefully something works for you. One tip I say is try to take it on yourself. Say, look, I'm the problem. Yeah, maybe there's a problem with me which you're not able to explain to me properly. So you kind of take the hit kind of thing, right? So you say you're not able to explain to me and get through to me, perhaps, right? So let's go. I will book something and I will go. I will want to see somebody, but I want you to come to explain to them what issues I have, so you can explain to them, so they can explain to me, and I can work on those problems with them. So it might be an inroad for you to be able to kind of get through at least one meeting he'll turn up for. If he turns up for one meeting, inshallah, hopefully, if he's a good counselor, they will start understanding that actually this wasn't a bad idea. This actually worked in our favor. and I was able to express. And then if he starts doing it, then I tend to see that, alhamdulillah, they do continue to see this, and they actually thank their wife that, I really apologize because I was delaying this, but this was actually something very worthwhile, and we should have done it a long time ago. So it's one way of doing something. Another way of doing something is, look, this is generally the same tactic, really similar tactic, but you kind of have to explain to them that, look, the partner, that look, there are certain things that we are not understanding from each other. All we're going to do is we're going to go to somebody, try to alleviate their worries. Generally, a worry would be, I don't want to go to somebody that will know our problems. So you say to them that, look, we'll go to somebody that doesn't know us. We're not going to see them again. We're not like, we're going to bump into them kind of thing, right? We don't know them. So it's fine. It's somebody from a different, not even part of our community, not from the same background as well, perhaps, right? And then that will allow you to, that it won't be spreading amongst, somebody that knows them or something, right? So try to alleviate their, but it says you have to like drip feed the idea. It's like that concept of the drop of water, falling onto the rock, and you just have to keep going slowly, but don't overdo it. When you overdo it, when you press too hard, that's when it will create a reaction from him. Just slowly, look, I really would like, and in a different way, I really would like that we see somebody so I can understand you better. Just that's it, nothing else. Next time you mention something else, our friend, they went to see somebody and it worked for them in this way, like different ways to try to present to them that, look, and then inshallah, and you make dua as well, obviously, that Allah opens up their heart, that he understands that this is something that we need to do, and then slowly, inshallah, hopefully you will get through.
Perfect. We have two more questions, inshallah. This one it seems to be similar to one you've already addressed, but just in case you want to add anything, how do we truly purify and cleanse our hearts this Ramadan?
Yeah, I think more or less everything we've covered already be that.
That's fine. So the sister, if you go back to the beginning of the show, inshallah, in the recording, you can check out the answer there. Okay, last one is as follows. My auntie from my mum's side is married to the brother of a man who separated from my auntie from my dad's side due to the auntie. I do not have full details, but there are harsh feelings between two parties due to potentially some harsh words exchanged. Now the auntie from the mum side, who is not directly involved, has unfortunately been cut off from the dad's side. How do I go about rectifying this as a nephew? Did the question make sense, or should I?
Yeah, the question does make sense. Okay. Sometimes I think it's a matter of allowing time to make them understand that this is not something to hold a grudge about. It's just that sometimes what happens is some people will hold a grudge, and so the way to do it is obviously when you have certain family events, then you would perhaps invite them as well as invite the other one, like a wedding or something. You don't miss out people, so things like that. But otherwise, generally speaking, if you get to a stage where they at least do salam to one another, right, at least to that level where they don't completely blank one another, right, that level I would say try to get to, that is achievable, right? Making them like feel as though when they, for example, one party, the party that's aggrieved here, they have a event happening, expecting that they will invite the other party, that probably won't happen. You probably won't get to that, because obviously the way that it's worked out, realistically probably won't happen. Obviously, if you want to try, ultimately you can try, no problem, but I don't think that that's going to be achievable. But what I'm saying is that get to this level, at least there is not hard feelings in terms of animosity to the level whereby they don't even say salam to each, to reply to their salam kind of thing, right? That shouldn't be happening. Okay, because the reason I understand, because it's not such a close relationship here. You're saying the mother's side auntie with the father's side of the family, so it's not something which is such a close relationship.
So I think he means, so his auntie from his mom's side. So I assume that means like his mom's sister, for example, and then obviously his dad's side family. So, for example, if they have a get together, you would normally, of course, because that's his mom's sister, his wife's sister, the father should be inviting her, for example, or things like that. But they're not. They just cut them
Yeah.
off. So, yeah.
So obviously, like I said to you, that in these kind of events, it's going to be difficult to try to expect that will happen straight away. You have to slowly break those barriers. How? By talking. Well, how else are you going to do it? Really, there's nothing you can do besides talking to them. If they have a dini inclination, the father's side, whoever is aggrieved, have a dini inclination, then inshallah, hopefully they can start to understand that this is not something we should hold a grudge about anymore. What's done is done. Let's move on. And in relation to this, how to do and what to do, if you go onto our YouTube page, the MFF, find there's some longer bayans that I've given. There's actually a whole procedure, and I've also mentioned severity of breaking ties and things. So obviously, if you hear certain things, inshallah, there's some ahadith that we mentioned. We don't have time now to go into all the details, but inshallah, I can signpost you to that. And if you listen to that, you will get a lot of understanding of practical tips of how to mend ties and the warnings of breaking ties. So if you give that information to them, warnings of breaking ties, and also like a person won't enter Jannah, yeah, these kind of severe warnings and practicals, inshallah, that I mentioned there of how to mend ties, then inshallah, hopefully you will get much more, inshallah, there. So just go onto our YouTube page and you'll find this is not too far, I'm sure, as well. You'll find a longer bayan, longer speech.
Perfect. Brilliant. I think inshallah that's all the questions. So we will wrap it up here for tonight. But jazakumullah khairah for all of you that stay tuned until the end. And inshallah do follow us on our channel and keep up with all the things going on. Until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.